Arizona National Livestock Show. Our judge this afternoon is Dr. Chris Cassidy. Cassidy grew up on a diversified family-owned purebred Angus and grain farm in north central Illinois. He was a member of both Blackhawk East and Texas A&M University livestock judging teams. He then went on to the University of Illinois, where he served as the livestock judging team coach while he completed his PhD in cow-calf ruminant nutrition. Dr. Casey is now an instructor and the livestock judging team coach at Iowa State University. He has judged shows in over 35 states, including the Houston Livestock Show, Fort Worth Stock Show, National Western, and the North American International Livestock Exposition. He currently resides in Iowa with his wife Katie and their sons Bo and Lincoln, and is heavily involved in the promotion and exhibition of the family Angus herd, C5 Angus. Dr. Cassidy advised that nobody is ever going to give you anything. You've got to go and take it. He is super excited to be here to judge today's show. Please help me welcome Dr. Cassidy to the 2018 Arizona National Livestock Show. Class 2 of the junior prospect steers need to be checking in. Class 2. Avery Mullins, Zane Campbell, Addie Owensby, Eric Garcia, Dylan Stone, Kona Yeager, Madison Mantelito. Class 2 prospect steers, please make your way to the ring. Avery Mullins, Zane Campbell, Addie Owensby, Erica Garcia, Dylan Stone, Kanya Yeager, Madison Manuelito. Class 2, make your way to the ring.
That's one.
Well, good afternoon, folks, and I'm really excited for the next 3 days. It's going to be a long one, but it's going to be fun. I think when we start off with our first class here, it is definitely one that has some difficulty to it. And I think each one of these calves out here, they obviously have a long way to go yet. And relative to their weight, I see some pretty big variances out here in terms of types and kinds of cattle. So it's challenging because I'd like to take a piece or a part of each one of them and put them together. The calf that I'm going to lead off this class with, no, he's not just the boldest and softest in his rib shape, but I think relative to his weight, I like this calf at the ground. I like the shape of his foot. I like just the way he gets out and reaches off of his hind leg. He's got an extended kind of look about him as well. His muscle shape is plenty aggressive enough for this stage of his development. Again, long-bodied, extended one that I think in terms of size and maturity probably fits me well as any of them out here. You get this steer in second, and I probably do prefer this calf in terms of just the softness and the practicality he has to the center part of his body. You get right in behind the cattle, and I think he's maybe arguably just the plainest in terms of his hip and his quarter shape. Like to just make this guy read a little stronger and a little more aggressive out of the back of his shoulder all the way through. Set him down to the ground. It gets just a little awkward there in his leg. This heifer that ends up in 3 is the real problem for me. I love this one in terms of her presentation. I love her mass. I love her bulk and power. She's just a little jammed up and a little quick for me. I read her head and I read her cannon bone and just where she's at maturity relative to her weight. I'm a little concerned with that about this one, but she definitely has all the power, all the extras, really good class, and I think an excellent way to start off this show.
First place, Ryan Barton, all the way from California. Let's give him a round of applause. Coming in second, Daisy Howell, Parks, Arizona, and Trevor Williams, all the way from Johnstown, Colorado. Coming into the ring is Class 2 of your junior prospect steers. Dr. Cassidy has his work cut out for him today. He's got 17 classes to sort through. Obviously starting with our lighter weight calves in the 500-pound range, going all the way up to 1,000 pounds, and at the end of the day, he will pick your champion and grand champion junior prospect steer. As Class 2 enters the ring, Class 3 start checking in. Blade Wilson, Alexandria Moore, J.C. Miller, Taylor Thompson, Tylee White, Emily Montoya, Chaz McFeeters, Kylie Davis, Riley Zubel, and Ryan Barton. Class 3 begin checking in. Today's Prospect Cattle Show is brought to you by Showbloom, Sullivan Supply, WW Rodeo Livestock Systems, Tractor Supply, Western Ag Life Media, You Can Bid, Mr. Paul Ramirez. let's thank all those sponsors. We certainly appreciate their support.
Well, another really good class, and again, I wouldn't say that it's easy, and I'd like to take a part of each one of these first three animals and kind of tie it together. I think the calf that wins is obviously very overwhelming in terms of just substance and bulk and mass, and he's as powerful as any steer in this particular class. What I like about this calf is for that kind of volume, when you get him in, I like the way his joints work, I like the way he's designed in terms Test, test. Like the way his lower joints are designed, and for a calf that has that kind of muscle, I think he gets out and reaches as good as any in this particular lineup. Now he's got a little bit of shoulder, and I just like to stretch him out just a little bit, and I'd probably give that advantage to the calves in 2 and 3, but for a calf that has that kind of bulk and that kind of mass and muscle shape, I think the way he got those joints is what gets him here towards the top. And I think we get into a heifer in second that's kind of an interesting one. I like this heifer's maturity. I like her extra growth, and I like her extension. She's the one in this particular class I also like from a skeletal perspective. I think when you get the cattle in motion, that one is flexible, that one's correct in the way she sets down on all 4. This heifer just comparatively, she's a little bit more breeding type of muscle shape to her. She's not as aggressive, not as shapely as some of the other ones in here. But I like what this heifer represents in terms of growth, the right kind of maturity, and the right kind of joint work. And for me, that's what gets her towards the top end of this class. Young lady's calf that comes next, the front 2/3 of this steer are very compelling. And I like this guy in terms of the roundness of his forehead, the boldness that he has right behind his shoulder. He's a calf that I'd like to change the rear third of him. He wants to cut up in his flank, and he's a little bit small-footed, sets down, behind's a little tight. Test, test. Like to just change his ankle. Let him set down a little softer there in his pastern, and I think that tail head will probably sit in just a little bit better. This calf here at 4, I like from the side. I think this guy proportions nicely. The way his shoulder is set into the front part of his body is good, but I'd like to change the angle of it. He needs to have probably just a little more slope there to his knee and just get out of his front end a little more comfortably. But again, I think a good calf that has some look and some balance to him, I think there's enough quality in this calf, and that's why he stays in the top half. Really a powerful one coming next. He's bold and he's stout. When you get behind him, it's a calf that runs downhill just a touch, and he wants to open up there at the edge of his shoulder. Probably like to redistribute some of his weight and make him a little more proportional, but that's a really good, muscular, big body, bold kind of a calf there that the young lady's taking care of. Little stretchier version coming next. Young man's got a really extended kind of a steer calf. And with this growth, I don't know if there's enough rib shape or enough muscle to move up. Same can be said about the young lady's blue roan. Like that one in terms of angulation, but I just like the expander in terms of her skeletal base width. Just open that one up all the way through, round our class out with one that's pretty edgy in terms of extension and look and has some presence. It's not practical enough in terms of rib, and I'd like to see her, see that calf just handle his top line together a little bit more correctly. Excellent class, lots of challenges, but good ones with good kids nonetheless.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, your Class 2 Junior Prospect Steer winner Dylan Stone from Eaton, Colorado takes first place. Sire name In God We Trust. Second place was Erica Garcia, Los Lunas, New Mexico. Sired by Fireball. Shane Lutrick was the breeder. Third place, Addie Owensby from Folsom, New Mexico. Skinner Cattle Company was the breeder. Fourth place is Camry Mullins, all the way from Colorado. In fifth place was Madison Manuelita from Shiprock, New Mexico. Also exhibiting sixth place, Madison Manuelito from Shiprock, New Mexico. Finishing up our class is Kona Yeager from Fairfield, Montana. Breeders Three Sisters Livestock. And then following up is Zane Campbell from Kingman, Arizona. Walker 4 Farms was the breeder. Give Class 2 a round of applause. And we are now moving into Class 3 into the ring. If you are Class 4, you should be coming to the show ring now. Class 4 prospect show steers should be lining up and checking in. Kayla Roca, Reese Elwood, Kaylee Bennett, Taylor Thompson, Salilo Brune, Tristan Davis, Coley Wilkins, and Siler Yeager all make your way to the show ring. Class 4 should be lining up now. Class 3 is in the ring.
Hey, did Edwin come to a Wednesday breakfast? Don't. Oh, really? Oh, he's just... How about Jim? Okay. That was him, huh? Anyway. All right. I'll talk to you later, Joe. Thank you.
Class 3 is currently in the ring. Class 4 needs to be lining up. Class 4 prospect steers should be lining up and checking in at the show ring.
Well, another really good class here. Come out of the gate and you're the first one in the ring, and that's where you're going to stay. It's a good place to be, right? I think a really nice calf. And this calf, in this particular class, is pretty hard to describe because I don't know if he's the most of any one particular trait, but I just think he's the best one. And the way he ties together the right kind of maturity, the right kind of substance, with the right kind of presence and quality about him, I think he becomes somewhat of a logical place to win. And yeah, he's not the stoutest, he's not the freakiest of any sort, but in resemblance of pure quality, I think that calf represents a lot of good things. Probably for me, got a little bit closer between second, third, fourth, and maybe even this steer at fifth. This here in second hit me pretty hard. Just when she gets him stopped and put together, I think this young lady does a great job of getting him stuck because this guy's got a really nice presence about him. Get him in motion, and I think you can start to see his problems. He's a little bit smaller footed. I like to wear him up there in his hock, and I just like to see him set down a little softer there at the surface. I don't know if he's quite as stout as the two steers on either side, but that guy's got a nice presence, and again, quality gets him towards the top for me. Problem steer is the one in third. I love this guy when you get right behind him, read him up high. This has got a really authentic kind of meat animal shape working up into his upper skeleton. Big hip and quarter in him as well. I think of the first three, he comes across as maybe just a nickel hard there in his flank. For me, what kind of bugs me, I'd like to just fix his hock. He's a little bit too straight and a little bit coarse there and how it's put together. Front 2/3 of this guy are great. He's got a good look up front and he's shaped right. Don't give up on that calf because I think he has a lot of really good pieces from just a sheer carcass and market perspective. Really nice footed, nice structured calf that comes next. I love this guy's looseness. Problem is he needs stacked up. He needs a bigger foot and forearm. He needs to have more just feature and strength to his jaw. And I'd like to just open him up there, both up high and from behind. Big picture, nice built, good looking calf. Young man's done a great job with him as well. I just got to have more base width. I got to have more real muscle shape to move him up any higher. But gain that a little bit. Calf that comes next. He's bold and powerful. Gets just a little jammed up in his neck and at the base of his shoulder. I think you set him in motion. His loin and his tail head want to come apart just a little bit. So this guy's got some pieces. I just like to rearrange him. Fodder. I think you could say something similar for this next calf. I like his boldness. I like his rib shape. He needs to be changed in terms of his pastern and the way it sets down. I like to see his tail head knocked in him just a little more correctly. Got a calf that comes next that's really sound and flexible. A little too clean there out through his hip and his quarter. And I'd like to see this guy just have more chest width and rib shape and blow him apart if we want to slide him up any higher in this class. And the same can be said about these two calves that finalize the class. This black one has got a nice look to him, but he's just not enough in terms of chest width and rib shape and muscle. Same can be said about the young man's calf that rounds out our class. But those are great kids that have presented these calves extremely well. Congratulations to all those exhibitors in Class 3.
Your Class 3 Junior Prospect Steer winner is J.C. Miller from Greenville, New Mexico. Let's give him a round of applause. Then we move on to Riley Zufelt from Bayfield, Colorado, taking second. In third place, you had Alexandria Moeller from Aztec, New Mexico. Moving right along to Chaz McFeeters from Bakersfield, California. 5 was Blade Wilson, Capitan, New Mexico. Emily Montoya, La Plata, New Mexico. Rounding out the class is Tylee White from St. John's, Arizona. Kylie Davis from Eagle, Idaho. And Ryan Barton from Poway, California. That was your Class 3 winners. Class 4 is now entering into the show ring. Class 5 should be making their way to the show ring. Tylee Velasquez, Riley Wood, Adeline Richardson, Wyatt Fetcher, Emily Weiss, Cassie Hayden, all make your way to the show ring for check-in. Victoria Horn, Erica Garcia, Tylee Velasquez, Mackenzie Swanemeyer for Class 5. Class 5 is checking in, and Class 4 is now in the show ring. Class 5 prospect steers. Class 5 prospect steers make their way to the show ring. Class 4 currently in Class 5.
Well, another really good and fun and very high quality class that's got some depth all the way through it. And I'm a firm believer that good ones do come in different shapes and sizes, and kind of sounded a little bit like a broken record here. This calf that wins, he might not be the most just powerful, but I think it's pretty obvious that when this young man gets this one stopped, that kind of neck set and that kind of organization with how he's put together, he's the one that kind of grabs my attention. And it hit me pretty hard when they first came in, and so I stuck with my first impression. You've done a great job with that calf. You've got him out here. He's presented very, very well. I think he's just a quality individual that gives you a lot of just attractive pieces to build from. Like to change the shape, maybe like to just blow them apart just a bit, but I think you can credit that to this calf in second. I think the one in second is obviously a little bit leaner as you read his lower third, just where he's at relative to his development. But I like this calf in terms of his extension, the way he uses his lower joints and flexes off both ends, I think is very good. He's a calf that just compared to some other ones, maybe not just as overwhelming in terms of body shape and mass, but that's a fresh, nice shaped steer that I think is put together from a structural standpoint. So young lady, don't sleep on that calf. That one I think has got nothing but a green light in front of him. Just maybe a little immature in how he is presenting himself today. This calf third is probably as powerful as you read him right out of his shoulder. His forerib and his upper skeleton I think are bold and massive. I like those parts about him, and I just wish some things fit together a little better. Up front, he wants to jam his neck in just a little tight and a little bit low there. He's a calf that just doesn't want to pick himself up out of his front end when he gets out in motion. Like to intensify that foot and bone work to help match that and just clean his head, the shape of his head up just a little bit. But big picture, big, bold, stout, powerful calf. Emily, done a great job with there at third. I really like this steer at fourth in terms of just how his range of motion. I like his flex, and I like the athleticism he has to his joints. Get right on top of this calf. I just don't think he had enough muscle shape. You read him right behind his shoulder, wants to fade right there over his groin edge, flatten down through his hip and his quarter. And real nitpicky thing, but when he does come right at you, he'll want to kind of twist in and push that elbow out just a little bit. So I'd like to change that about him, but from the side, that's a good calf that's put together very well. You've presented him beautifully. Hats off to you for doing an excellent job there at home. Stretchy, extended kind of calf that comes next. I don't know if his body shape just matches his frame. He gets just a little raw and a little bit hard in terms of how he's put together, like to soften his foot and just make him sit down a little softer there at the ground as well. Young man's got his head full here with this heifer. I like this calf. Moderate, easy doing. I think there's some value in that. But with that, a little bit coarser than what she's put together through her shoulder and her head. Wants to twist out just a little bit up front, and so that's why she ends up where she's at. Then you got a pair of cattle here that round out our class that have all the performance you'd want. They're big, growthy kind of cattle that, again, these young ladies have done a great job with. But relative to their size, I'd like to alter them structurally. I'd like to give them more productivity in terms of rib shape and muscle as well. But those kids have done a great job. Again, congratulations to all those exhibitors.
Your class winner is Tristan Davis from Greenville, New Mexico. Grenville, New Mexico. Give him a big round of applause. Second place is Kaylee Bennett from Hope, New Mexico. Coming in third, Salilo Brun from Mount Hood, Parkville, Oregon. Fourth place takes us to Kayla Roca from Tracy, California. Rounding up the class is Taylor Thompson, Edgewood, New Mexico. Siler Yeager from Fairfield, Montana. Reese Elwood, Norwood, Colorado. And Coley Wilkins from Eager, Arizona. Entering the ring is class 5. These steers are weighing in the high 600s into 700. Class 5 is currently in the ring. That means class 6 you need to be lining up. Blake Norris, Corey McGibbon, Denelson Wilkins, Riley Solo, Michael Volition, Ty Martinez, Alexandria Muller, Grace Richardson, and Trevor Williams. Class 6 should be lining up at the gate, class 6. Again, I'd like to thank our Prospect Cattle Show sponsors, Showbloom, Sullivan Supply, WW Rodeo Livestock System, Tractor Supply, Western Ag Life Media, and You Can Bid, Mr. Paul Ramirez. Let's give our sponsors a big round of applause. We appreciate their support of the show. Grace Richardson.
Well, I apologize for taking just a little extra time here, but I wish we had a few of these steers for some of these other classes. Those of you guys that are in the middle of this class, just to let you know, this is a real heater class. So it's fun for me to get the chance to look through it, but some of you guys probably came thinking you were not going to be about 5th or 6th, and that's just a testament of this class. These are good animals in here. Every one of you has done a great job. I think it's a 3-horse race, and I think all 3 of these calves have a lot good to them. And the one that wins is just one for each. I guess hits me pretty hard initially. And when this young lady does get this guy stopped and gets him kind of put together, I think the guy is just really so good in terms of just not being bold and powerful in terms of body shape, but just how it allows him to balance. I probably like this guy's feature maybe a little bit better than the calf that's in 2nd. I think he's a little more extended up front and a little stronger there in terms of his head and his jawline. I think he draws back just a little neater there in his lower body balance as well. A powerful, good-looking kind of a calf that I think all 3 of these cattle are sound enough, and so I think it just kind of boils down to a personal preference. I like this calf in 2nd. If you want to switch this pair, I wouldn't argue much with you because this calf is just good. I love this guy in terms of just his angulation, his joint work is impeccable, so fresh. Young lady, you've done a great job with that calf. That is a good-looking, well-presented kind of a steer. He wants to run downhill just ever so slightly, and I guess that's pretty nitpicky. But if I just change him, he isn't maybe just as strong in terms of his jaw and his headline and his head and the shape of his skull is what I saw in our class winner. But that's a good calf nonetheless. Like I said, if you want to switch him, I wouldn't argue much with you. I don't think there's any slouch here in 3rd, and you get right on top of the cattle. I think this guy's impressive. When you read him right behind his shoulder, the guy just explodes with a hard, aggressive kind of shape to the upper part of his skeleton. Get him stopped, his neck set is good, and those are hard genetic pieces to put together. He's a little bit coarser for me, I guess, you read the base of his shoulder and just the shape of his head, but I guess what solidifies him in 3rd, when you watch the cattle go away, for how big he is up top, he wants to just close up ever so slightly down low, not calling him narrow, but when the competition's that tough towards the top end, it's those little tiny things that'll end up put you in 3rd. Again, that's a good steer nonetheless. I think there's some good ones in 4 and 5. This white calf, when you get him stopped, I think has a nice look of balance and presence. Get him in motion, and I think you can see he's a little too tight there in his rear ankle. Needs to be a little softer in the way he sets down to the ground. Same can go for this one. I really like this one's extension and freshness. Need to give this one just a little stouter foot and just a little more bone and just mass underneath. Like to soften and blow this one's rib cage as well. Big body kind of calf coming next. That's pretty extended up front. Get this calf in motion, he'll creep up in his spine, and it kind of causes him to fall apart just a little bit. So again, a calf that's got some pieces. When he gets in motion, I'd like to just reorganize him in a spot or 2. Calf that comes next is lean and shapely, but a little bit disconnected in terms of shoulder, forerib, and the way his tail head sets up on him is a little awkward, but that's still a good calf nonetheless. There's 3 tiers that come next that probably just don't have the same kind of muscle shape and volume to them I like this young lady's calf up front, just in terms of depth of rib and feeding ability. Young lady coming next has got a fresh one. Just needs to be blown apart, and the calf that rounds out our class has got plenty of performance. I think relative to its frame, probably just needs more rib and mass and volume. That's an excellent class. If you guys would congratulate all those kids in there and give them a nice round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, your class winner for class number 5 prospect steers is Taylor Velasquez from Bloomfield, New Mexico. Let's give him a round of applause. Second place was Emily Weiss, Schaefer, California. Third place, Taylor Vasquez again. Fourth place, Cassie Hayden, La Plata, New Mexico. Fifth place is Mackenzie Swanmeyer, Ignacio, Colorado. Victoria Horn is in 6th place from Flagstaff, Arizona. Wyatt Fetcher from Howard, Kansas, and rounding up the class was Erica Garcia, Los Lunas, New Mexico. That was the placing of your class 5. Now entering the ring is class 6. Class 7 should start lining up. Bailey Faulkner, Dee Poquette, Peyton Owensby, Michael Richardson, Chase Williams, Cody Foley, Kyle Glenn, Peyton Volashin, and Sebastian Grozo. Class 7 should be lining up. For those of you that just joined us, this is Dr. Chris Cassidy is your judge today for the Junior Prospect Show. He'll be with us for the next 3 days judging market and some other cattle shows. He grew up in a diversified family-owned purebred Angus and grain farm in north central Illinois. He served on a number of judging teams and is currently in Iowa, and he is the livestock judging coach there at Iowa State University. He has got 17 prospect steer classes to sort through today, and then at the end of that he'll be naming the grand champion and reserve champion for the 71st Annual National Livestock Show. Class 7, you should be lining up at the show. Class 7. Class 6 of the junior market prospect steers are in the ring currently. If you are Class 7, you need to be checking in at the gate. Class 7 should be checking in.
Really another excellent class. I think it's an interesting trio here on the top end, and I've said it before, I'd like to take a part of each one of them and kind of put them together, but it's not how the cards are dealt, and you got to kind of work through that. And I think this calf that wins this class, when you get him stopped and put together, I think he's the nicest combination of having enough muscle shape and still having some presence to him. And so that's why I ended up landing on this calf. And I know he doesn't perfect structure. I'd sure like to see him set down just a little differently there and just change the shape of his hock. But when you get the cattle in motion, I still think he's fairly in control of himself. And I think just his presence, his feature, his genuine muscle shape, and the freshness relative to his development, I think is what gets him towards the top. I like this calf in second quite a bit. And at the ground, this is just a rugged, kind of burly made steer that when you get him in motion, I would argue he's as flexible and as athletic as any of them in here. I think with that, maybe he just isn't quite as exciting, both in terms of his muscle shape as well as his look. He's a little bit rounder in his hip, a little plainer headed, just maybe a steer that isn't quite as exciting in terms of just unique, kind of intriguing pieces of balance and look. But fundamentally speaking, I love that guy's foot, I love his joint work, and that's why he's at the top end of the class for me. Steer that's in third probably has just a shot harder kind of shape to him. You get on top of this calf, I like him as good as any of them. You set him in motion, and I think that's where his problems start to work up just a little bit. He'll separate there at the top of his shoulder, wants to sink in his loin and crank up in his tail head. So a little bit of a disorganization in the way he keeps himself together. I'd like to fill him in his forerib and blend that into his shoulder just a little nicer too. But a lean, aggressive, muscled, good presented kind of a calf that young lady's done an excellent job with. This calf that comes next has some good. I like this guy from the side with the motion. I think he's flexible, and I think he's got some really athletic kind of range of motion as well. His neck set's good, but he still doesn't have the right kind of lower body proportions. He's still deeper in his chest than he is in his flank. Tuck that tail head in just a little bit. He gives up some expression. You get right on top of him and read him through his hip and quarter. I don't know if he's quite as hard as those three in front of him, but that's still a very, very good steer there that young man should be proud of. Calf that comes next, I love just his immaturity. I think you read his head, his cannon bone, just where he's at condition-wise. I still think there's some gas left, but I guess for me to be really optimistic there, I'd like to change him structurally. He wants to paddle just a little bit up front. You step right in behind the cattle. I just don't know if there's enough real meat animal shape there to offset that lack of structural quality up front, but I still think when he gets him stopped, he's got a captivating kind of look to him, and there's a lot of presence in him. Bold, stout, powerful one here that to me just gets a little too coarse, both in his head and in the shape of his hock. like to change his joint work if we want to move him up. Really extended, kind of skinny necked one here that just doesn't have enough productivity in terms of rib shape and muscle. The cat comes next is an improvement in that regard, but wants to jam his hind leg down to the ground. He can change the shape of his joints as well. We round our class out with 2 individuals that both need to have more muscle. I think the one that's right in front has just a little bit more angulation to her skeleton, but this is a good set of steers again nonetheless. Congratulations to all those kids doing an excellent job here in this show. Congratulations.
Your Class 6 winner is Michael Voloshin from Craig, Colorado. Let's give him a round of applause. Congratulations. Taking second place is Trevor Williams, third from Johnstown, Colorado. Blake Norris is third from Casa Grande, Arizona. Takes us to fourth place. This is Ty Martinez, Loving, New Mexico. Fifth is Alexandria Muller, Aztec, New Mexico. Sixth is Denelson Wilkins from Eager, Arizona. Seventh is Cora McGibbon, Green Valley, Arizona. Eighth is Grace Richardson, Los Lunas, New Mexico. And that completes Class 6. Baylor Faulkner, and who else? Sebastian Giorzo. Your class is going into the ring right now. Class 7 is on its way into the ring. Baylor Faulkner, Sebastian, you better get ringside. Class 8, you should be getting ready. Tyler Poquette, Salilo Brune, Aspen Kukendall, Julia Dyer, Aspen Kukendall, Caleb Mayer, Maggie Hayden, Faith Shirley, Cody Kelly, Shay Stone, Ketch Bays, Christian Gutierrez, Jackson Anderson. Class 7 is in the ring. Class 8, you should start checking in.
another good set of calves and a really nice set of kids working hard out here. So yeah, I think it's a fairly straightforward. For me, there was 3 or 4 of them that caught my attention pretty easy and right off the bat. But this calf right here, I think, does probably need to win this class. And I think he's just the nicest combination of having the right kind of feature and the right kind of muscle shape, but still giving you some quality. I think for how much muscle he has, his foot size and how much bone he has probably matches just a little bit better than the calf that's in second. He's fresh, he's the right size, just a really good solid calf here to lead off this particular class. I like this one in second. I think this baldy, this kind of white-legged baldy, young lady's got just a good presented, well-balanced kind of a calf. This one's really neat in terms of how he transitions. Neck, shoulder, forerib, and his spine is setting him correctly. I'd like to intensify his bone work, just set him down on a bigger foot and make him just a little stouter in terms of his jawline. Like how he's assembled at the edge of his shoulder, but I do think it's because he's a little bit narrow-chested when he comes right at you, but from a standpoint of quality and lines and presence, that steer's got a ton of good. You've obviously done a nice job with him. Calf that comes next, I think, has got some interesting parts. I like his substance. I like just the feature that he has, and I like his foot and his bone work, and I like to get on top of him. I think he's pretty aggressive and pretty square in terms of his hip and his upper skeletal shape. Now, from there down, I'd like to change him. I'd like to just flare him out there in his quarter. Big picture for me, I'd like to just change his shoulder. He wants to sit out just a little bit wide, and so he'll disconnect and how that hooks up into his forerib. Not maybe as soft as a couple of those other steers as well, but that's a good cutting kind of a steer that's stout, still moves very good. I think a really quality calf to stay here towards the top. Really big-legged, really stout-made kind of a calf that comes next that for me just gets a little coarse. And just the way his neck and his shoulder are assembled, I do think of the first 4, when you set the cattle in motion, he's one that'll creep up there in his spine and kind of lose himself in terms of organization, but stout, powerful, muscular calf that's shaped right. Calf that comes next is long-bodied. He meets his stride, but he's a little awkward in the shape of his hind leg. He's a calf that for his length and extension needs to have more rib shape, it needs to have more volume, but that's still a good calf nonetheless. More moderate kind of calf coming next. I like this one in terms of angulation, but at the same time, this one's just not powerful enough. I'd like to open this one up and just give it more shape and expression. It's still a good calf nonetheless. The calf that comes next is really extended, really functional in terms of how this one's built and how it reaches, but again, not enough muscle shape. A little more moderate one coming next that I think is maybe just carrying a little extra finish for this stage of her development, or this stage of that calf's development. Probably like to lean that one up, and then we round our class out with one that, relative to its size and its scale, I'd like to change it structurally and give it more muscle and volume. But great set of steers, great set of kids as well. Congratulations to all those exhibitors.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Class 7 winner is Peyton Voloshin from Great Colorado. Let's give her a round of applause. Second place goes to Cody Foley from Cheyenne, Wyoming. On to Peyton Owensby from Folsom, New Mexico. Fourth place is Chase Williams from Johnstown, Colorado. Your fifth place winner is Sebastian Giorzo from Gunda, California. Kylie Glenn, Missoula, Montana is sixth. Seventh is Michael Richardson, Los Lunas, New Mexico. Daly Poquette from Flagstaff, Arizona is your eighth place, and rounding out the class is Baylor Faulkner from Los Ojos, New Mexico. That is Class 7. Class 8 is now entering the ring. That means Class 9, you should be lighting up ringside. Class 9 is Alexandria Muller, William Cash Spindle, Georgia Cozatoro, Weston Elwood, Galvin Morrow, Emily Montoya, Delana Center, and Izzy McGibbon. Your Class 9 should be checking in now. And in the show ring is Class 8. Class 8 steers are your heavy 700-pound steers ranging from 768 all the way to 784. Again, we want to thank our Prospect Cattle Show sponsors, Show Bloom, Sullivan Supply, WW Rodeo Livestock Systems, Tractor Supply, Western Ag Life Media, You Can Bid. We appreciate all those sponsors of today's show. We're on class 8 is in the ring, and we have 17 classes today. And then our judge, Dr. Chris Cassidy, will select your grand and reserve prospect for the 2018 Arizona National Livestock Show.
another very nice class of steers. I think there's a kind of a 2-horse race here for me, and there's a pair of cattle that I think have a lot of good, have some trade-offs in a spot or two, but I think big picture, these are the cattle that have the right kind of muscle volume. To me, they have the right kind of extras in terms of next level pieces to give them a kind of a quality image. And so for the steer that wins this particular class, I think obviously there's a little more bulk to him as you read his body shape and you read the upper part of his skeleton and out through his hip. But I think when you actually do study this calf, he's maybe not as high in his pin set, but it probably sets his tail head in just a little neater. I think you ask these two calves to get out and lead, and I do think there's a little more range of motion and a little more flex there. This calf's hock and his hind leg, I think he's a little more coordinated in the way that he goes. And so, big picture, he's a big-bodied, powerful calf that puts together a really functional kind of framework and a look of quality. So, nice place to start. Good steer here, young lady's done a great job. This calf in second, I think, I probably like just his cleanliness down low. He's the base of his chest and just the shape of his lower body. He's a little more athletic and a little leaner. I like his feature and I like the look that he presents you. I think he's a calf that when you do start to break him down, you'll want to creep that tail head up just a little bit, and you set him in motion. He's maybe not as secure how he flexes his hock and rear skeleton. Once get just a little uncoordinated there. I'm not calling him as having any big picture problems there, but in a tough class, those are those small details that I find. Good job with that steer. That's a nice one there in second. Now the calf that comes in three, I think standing still, you like him. I think he's like the two in front of him in regards to balance and presence and quality and the right kind of composition relative to his size. Get this calf in motion. He tightens up too much in his lower joints, and he'll want to set down a little hard there in his posture. And so we need to change that if he wants a shot at winning this class. But from a standpoint of just quality, that calf represents a ton of good. This calf that comes next is arguably as shapely and as powerfully muscled as any of them. I like the aggressive kind of expression that he has all the way through, but with that, he just comes across as a little coarser. He wants to get a little upright, a little round there in his shoulder. Again, he's a calf that's wound up just a little tight there, but muscular. That calf's got cutability written all over him. Calf that comes next, I like him just in terms of his smoothness. He gets a little awkward as well when he's in motion. He'll dish out in his loin, sit down a little awkwardly there on his rear too, but still a calf that I think has some smoothness to his shoulder. I think he's put together up front okay. Just like to change that rear third. Young lady's done a great job with this one. She's one of the, in my opinion, she does, it makes this calf look as good as she possibly can. She's a great stick, shows that she's worked hard with this steer, and I think that's important. Neck set's good, freshness is good. This calf just doesn't have the same kind of pull as some of those in front of him. But that's a good calf that you have obviously worked very hard with, and you deserve to be recognized. A bold-bodied, muscular calf coming next. Just need to change this one structurally. It wants to sit out a little hard, wants to creep up in his spine, and to reorganize that with structure. Great looking calf that comes next is presented very well. Not enough muscle, not enough rib shape for me to move him up any higher. Pair of cattle coming next. Same story. I think they have some doability and some function in their structure, but I'd like to just power them up and give them more shape. And then we've got three steers here towards the end that relative to some extra size probably don't have the same kind of body shape and the same kind of muscle volume as some of those in front of them. But that's a great class. Again, those kids have done an excellent job with their projects. Wish them the best of luck. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, your class winner for Class 8 is Shay Stone from Eaton, Colorado. Congratulations, Shay. Let's give him a round of applause. Catch Bays from Silver City, New Mexico comes in second. Maggie Hayden, La Plata, New Mexico third. Faith Shirley, St. John's, Arizona is your fourth place. Contestant number 5 is Aspen Kuykendall from Tres Piedras, New Mexico. 6 is Salilo Brune from Mount Hood, Parkdale, Oregon. 7 again is Aspen Kuykendall from Tres Piedras, New Mexico. 8 takes us to Cody Kelly from Parks, Arizona. 9 is Caleb Meyer from Buckeye, Arizona. Your 10th place individual is Tyler Poquette from Flagstaff, Arizona. Rounding out the classes, Jackson Anderson, Sterling, Utah, Christian Gutierrez from Lubbock, Texas. That is the placings for class number 8. Coming into the ring is class number 9. If you are in Class 10, you should be making your way ringside. Peyton Owensby, Caleb Johnston, Justin Bochard, Tristan Davis, Kylie Bennett, Tyler Poquette, William Spindle, Saleo Brune, Addie Owensby, Cody Foley. Class 10 should be making their way ringside, and this is class number 9. Class number 9, weights ranging from 791 all the way up to 820 pounds. Again, I want to welcome everybody to the 2018 Arizona National Livestock Show. We certainly appreciate all these exhibitors entering into the Prospect Junior Show. This show has really grown over the last few years, and now we're up to 17 classes and prospects from all over the nation. Certainly is a great day to be showing cattle in the great Phoenix weather. Hope you're all enjoying it. I want to thank our sponsors again: Showbloom, Sullivan Supply, WW Rodeo Livestock Systems, Tractor Supply, Western Ag Live Media, You Can Bid. Your judge today, Dr. Chris Cassidy, is going to be with us for the next 3 days, starting today with the Prospect Steers, onto the junior market and beef showmanship. We certainly appreciate him coming down, and I'm sure he's happy to be out of Iowa this time of year. Dr. Cassidy was a member of both the Blackhawk East and Texas A&M University livestock judging teams. He went to University of Illinois, where he served as a livestock judging team coach while completing his PhD in cow-calf ruminant nutrition. Dr. Cassidy is now an instructor and livestock judging team coach at Iowa State University. His wife is Katie, and their sons, Bo and Lincoln, are heavily involved in the promotion exhibit of the family Angus herd, C5 Angus. Thank you, Dr. Cassidy, for being here today.
with a really good class here. I do think there's one that leads off and is fairly dominating, and just the way he puts together the right kind of body shape and muscle volume and still stays sound and quality in terms of his look. I think that one wins this class pretty dominantly, and we'll get it back out here in just a second, but young lady's done a great job with that particular calf. It's obvious that I think probably the decision between second and third was a little bit more challenging, and these two steers, I think, the red one versus the silver one, are a little bit cut from different molds, if you will. I think this calf in second's probably just a little more genuine. You start at the ground, I think this one's a little square, a little bit more just width to his chest and his rib cage as well. Get on top of them. Both of them have enough muscle, but I think this calf's just a little more aggressive, a little bolder, a little stouter in terms of his head and his feature. Neither one of them are perfect on their hind legs, but I like the calf's extra muscle, I like his extra stoutness, and that's why he ends up in second. Calf in third is one I thought was going to be second when they walked in, and he's a calf that when she gets him presented to you, he is very tempting because he's got such a nice look from the side. Really sends his neck high out of the top of his shoulder, and I love his extension. I just love this steer from the side. Get right in front of him and from behind. He's a calf. Just get a little nervous about his true base width. He wants to pull his hocks together. He's got extra hair, but if you really read his pin set and his lower quarter shape, I don't think there's just quite as much real meat animal shape in this calf, but you've done a great job with that steer. He's presented well and shown well. If you switch that pair, I wouldn't argue much with you because those are two really, really nice steers. Calf that comes next, I think, is one that has some extension to him. He's pretty good in the way he's assembled up front. Maybe want to run downhill just a touch, and I think compared to those three in front of him, he is the narrowest built of those first four, and that's why he ends up where he's at. But that's still a great calf that's put together very, very well. Young lady's black and white calf's got some interesting parts as well. I like this calf's structural quality. I think he's one of the sounder made steers in here. It's just a little bit coarser there in his knee, and it's not doesn't really affect the way he moves, but big picture on him, I just don't see enough strength to his jawline. Correlates back to just a flatter rib shape and not the same kind of muscle volume. Good calf nonetheless. Really stretchy white calf coming next. He gets a little low there in his pin set. We need to change the way he flexes his hock relative to his size. I don't know if he's got the same kind of doability as those steers ahead of him. Calf that comes next is deep and easy doing. Flexes very well in terms of his lower joints, but he's a calf that just doesn't have enough skeletal width. Need to blow him apart. Young man's calf that rounds out this class. It's the same story, just a little bit higher there in his flank and not the same kind of body shape. But that's a great class. One that wins this class pretty easily, but congratulations.
Congratulations to Georgia Casorto from Hillmar, California. Give her a round of applause. That is your class number 9 winner. Second place is William Spindle, Archery, New Mexico. 3 is Emily Montoya, La Plata, New Mexico. Your 4th place winner is Alexandria Moeller from Aztec, New Mexico. Coming in 5th is Delana Schonert from Fallbrook, California. Rounding out the class is Calvin Morrow from Copland, New Mexico. Izzy McGibbon, Green Valley, Arizona. And Weston Elwood, Norwood, Colorado. That completes class number 9. Coming into the ring is class number 10. Class 10 steers are ranging from 823 pounds clear up to 843 pounds. That is class 10 is now entering into the ring. That means class 11, you should be lining up. Class 11, you should be lining up. Chase McPherson, Adam Mayer, Cade Miller, Catch Bays, Hadley Miller, Catch Bays, Tessa McGibbon, Ashlyn Nabe, Tegan Schleter. Class 11, you need to be riding up, and that is now class 10 in the ring.
Toward the end. Blue shirt, one of the best. Yeah. Figured.
Another very, very good class here. And this one's pretty deep in terms of this top end. I think all four of these calves here at the front of this class are very, very good. And, you know, I don't know if any one of them is the most of any one particular thing. And I'll take a few seconds here to describe what kind of went through my mind a little bit here. And, you know, this calf that wins, I tell you, I'll be honest, I can see it, and as well as you guys can from ringside, that he's not the just widest or most muscular calf in here, but what he does well, it really kind of gets me fired up. That guy has got the right kind of feature. Love his foot, his bone, and the way that he has that kind of substance, but still puts together such a fresh and really attractive kind of look to him. He's not just a pretty steer. That guy's head is stout, his jawline stout. He's not overly conditioned, so yeah, he maybe isn't just the most muscular at this point of his maturity, but with that kind of feature, with that kind of look and presence, I think he's got a world of future in front of him. Like I said, I'd like to set him apart there at his pin set and just maybe blow him apart at the ground, but that's a really stout structured, stout featured calf that puts together, I think, a really, really high quality look there from the side. This steer in second is interesting, and I like this calf from the standpoint of his muscle shape, his base width, and yet when you read him up front, he's really, really extended and really unique in how he puts those genetic things together. He's maybe just a little edgy for me, and I don't know how to describe it, but he's maybe just a little bit extreme in terms of just his length of muzzle. I don't know if his shoulder sets in him quite as nicely, but that's a really, really interesting kind of steer that's going to fit for a lot of people. I think that you could use him to win, and I wouldn't argue much with you. That's a competitive set of cattle there on top. This calf here in third, I like him, and at times I even toyed with the idea of starting him because he's another big hip, powerfully muscled, good body kind of a calf that when this young lady gets him stopped, I think he does balance up very, very nicely. I guess when you get the cattle in motion, he's the one that maybe concerns me just a shot because he wants to set his hind leg just a little hard and a little outside of his body when he goes away. That'll cause that tail head to creep up just a little bit. So from a standpoint of aesthetics, his rear skeleton could be changed, but again, those are little tiny nitpicky things on a really excellent steer there in three. I like the calf in fourth as well. He's moderate, he's great structured, good footed, like the way he flexes and bends off both ends of his framework. A little bit just fragile in terms of his foot, maybe isn't quite as hairy as some of the others. He's authentic, just everything fits on him very well. He just isn't as expansive, he's just not quite as extreme or edgy as some of those other ones in front of him, but a darn nice steer there in four. Calf that comes next, I like his freshness, I like his length and extension, but he's a calf that, to me, I think as you get him out here, reads again a little bit smaller there in his foot size, not quite as much overwhelming body mass and power, but still a great steer nonetheless. A long-bodied calf that comes next for his frame and for his extra stretch. I wish he had just a little more durability, like to blow him apart there in his forerib and just set him just a little bolder there in his body shape. Calf that comes next is bold and easy feeding. I like just his depth of rib and flank. He's a calf that's maybe pushing a little extra condition, but no problems with him in terms of practicality. Calf that comes next gives you a nice look from the side. He's too flat in his body shape to compensate for him being just a little upright there in his shoulder as well. Got a pair of cattle here towards the end are a little bit different. Neither one of them probably have the same sort of extension or look to them, but I think good cattle nonetheless. This is an excellent, excellent class. Congratulations to all those exhibitors for really nice steers there towards the top end.
Your class number 10 winner is Caleb Johnston. Give him a round of applause all the way from Hobbs, New Mexico. Second place is Cody Foley from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Third place, Peyton Owensby from Folsom, New Mexico. Fourth is Tristan Davis from Grenville, New Mexico. Fifth place is William Spindle, Moriarty, New Mexico. Addie Owensby takes sixth place from Folsom, New Mexico. Your seventh place individual is Callie Bennett, Hope, New Mexico. Rounding out the class is Salil Broom from Mount Hood, Parkland, Oregon. Tyler Poquette, Flagstaff, Arizona. And Justin Bolchard, Gilbert, Arizona. That completes class 10. Now entering into the ring is Class 11. Class 11 is ranging from 865 pounds all the way up to 895 pounds. Class 11 is now in the ring, and we'll move on to Class 12. If you are Class 12, you need to be making your way ringside. Ty Martinez, Cade Haggard, Sean Lefsty, Cheyenne Breeding, Jackson Howe, Mallory Schinner. Class 12, you need to be making your way ringside. Class 12.
We're on 11, 12's up next. To Facebook.
Facebook Live.
Facebook, Arizona National, yes sir.
Class 12, you need to be making your way ringside. Class 12, ringside, checking in your steers. Currently, Class 11 is in the show ring. Today, Dr. Cassidy will be sorting 17 classes to find your champion and reserve champion prospect steer for the Arizona National Livestock Show.
Another really interesting class here. You know, we've got 3 or 4 here at the top end that I think are nice steers. Maybe not as dynamic or just a calf in here that just blows you away in one particular area. But I'm gonna tell you that this calf's just very pleasant to me, and I like him to have the right kind of joint work. I breed cattle at home, and I think this guy wins at the ground. I like his foot shape. I like the structure that he's got, not only in terms of the amount of substance, but just the cleanliness and flexibility of his joint work. I think he's got plenty of rib shape and plenty of muscle to match and accommodate. Just a very practical, useful, good kind of fat steer. I think he's just very pleasant, fault-free, good kind of steer. Pretty hard to pick a major hole in that one when they're just really problem-free. The calf that ends up in second, if you're wanting a little bit more muscle shape and aggression, I think you could warrant maybe making him in the discussion. But I guess for me, he's a calf that when you do get him in motion, he'll just wish he'd sit down. I wish he'd find a different gear and just set those feet down a little softer, because I like his muscle shape, like we said, and I like his look that he presents you. Just wish this guy would relax and set down on his pastern a little differently, but that's a good pair of cattle nonetheless. Nice steers there in 1 and 2. Calf in 3's got some parts that I really like as well, and he's a guy that you get him up and read him ahead of his shoulder. He's a calf that's neat and he's extended, but yet drops down with a really big forearm and lots of bone and substance to him. I don't know if he's maybe quite as expansive, just right in his forerib. And if you read right behind him, I don't know if his quarters is as explosive as some of the other calves in here, but a good calf nonetheless. The balance is nicely, proportions nicely, just like to blow him apart, just a little bit there in his heart and his forward. Calf that comes next is really a round-bodied kind of a steer, pretty bold coming out of the back of his shoulder. I think you read him down low. His foot and his bone work probably doesn't match, and he's a calf that can get just a little tight there in his heart, and just how his shoulder and elbow kind of hooks up into his body cavity is a little awkward, but a good steer. Shaped right, lean, and has some gas left in the tank. I think just a good calf nonetheless. This young man's calf that comes next is very smooth in how he's put together. Big-footed, good-footed, the way that he gets out and reaches, but like to again blow him apart and give him just a shot more chest width and rib shape and muscle all the way through. Muscular, really an expressive kind of calf that comes next. That young lady's steer directly in front of me just gets a little round and coarse in his makeup. I like to change the shape of his hock, lay it back in his shoulder, and give him more bend and slope there to his knee, but muscular, powerful kind of calf that has some carcass merit. Calf coming next is really smooth. Again, the young man's done a great job. He's got a beautiful coat of hair. He's presented awesome. Just a little too flat, a little too narrow, both in his skeleton and in his rib cage. Round our class out with the young lady's calf that, again, presented correctly, fed right, definitely the right kind of composition for her weight. But that calf just gets a little awkward there in terms of structure, and I'd like to have that perfect if they give up that much power. But again, I think it's a great class. There's 4 or 5 steers there. Those kids have done a great job. Congratulations.
Your winner of Class 11 Prospect Steers is Hadley Miller, Grenville, New Mexico. Let's give Hadley a big round of applause. Second place goes to Caden Miller, Heath, Texas. Third place is Chaz Feeders, Bakersfield, California. Tegan Schlieder from Bayfield, Colorado takes fourth. Fifth place is Catch Bays, Silver City, New Mexico. Ashlyn Nebb from Florence, Montana takes sixth. Rounding up the class is Adam Mayer, Buckeye, Arizona. And Tessa McGibbon, Green Valley, Arizona. That completes Class 11. Class 12 is headed into the show ring. That means Class 13, you should be lining up. Paige Hamilton, Chase Haggard, Keston Zimmerman, Kendall Jones, Kaylin Haggard, McKenna McCleve, Jacqueline Salenza, Catherine Johnson, Keelan Faulkner. Class 13, you should be making your way ringside. Entering into the ring now is class number 12. Class 12 steers ranging from 904 pounds all the way up to 943 pounds. There is an add-on here of Amanda Olaf has been added to the class. Ladies and gentlemen, this is class 12. Want to bring our attention to the Prospect Cattle Show sponsors: Show Blue, Sullivan Supply, WW Rodeo Livestock System, Tractor Supply, Western Ag Life Media. You can bid. Following the selection of the Grand and the Reserve Prospect, we'll move right into our showmanship. Those classes are posted directly behind me on the windows of the white building. Our judge this afternoon is Dr. Chris Cassidy. He'll be with us for the next 3 days, judging not only the prospect steers, but the junior market cattle, beef showmanship judge, and junior heifer judge. Cassidy grew up on a diversified family-owned purebred Angus and grain farm in north central Illinois. He was a member of both Black Hawkeys and Texas A&M University livestock judging teams. He went on to the University of Illinois, where he served as the livestock judging team coach while completing his PhD in cow-calf ruminant nutrition. Dr. Cassidy is now an instructor and the livestock judging team coach in Iowa State University. Let's give Dr. Cassidy a big round of applause. He's been working hard today, and we're happy to have him here, so thank you. This show takes a great deal of volunteer time and resources to put on, and I would be remiss if I did not introduce our junior cattle superintendent, Miss Katie Hanger, right there, center ring. Let's give her a round of applause. She's been putting in a lot of hours to get these shows put together and going, and we really appreciate it.
literally just got off the phone with your brother. I'm like, please tell me.
Another nice class. Again, we got a good pair of steers here on top, and it's pretty tough, and they're a little bit different, and I'd like to take them and kind of gel them together, if you will. But I think that this calf that wins, I think both of the steers are plenty good enough in terms of structure and just how they operate their joints. And you know, this steer's maybe a little smaller, but I think as you really study his chest width and his rib shape, just the pin set that he has is just a little more bulk and a little more muscle and a little more productivity in terms of rib shape and volume and those kinds of things. And yet for a calf that has the extra power, still think he's nice enough in terms of his look. I'd probably give the feature advantage to this steer in second. I like just this black calf's just extra stoutness in terms of his head and his jaw, a little bigger forearm to him, but I think this calf gives you a really smooth, just well blended kind of a look. He gets a little disproportional for me. I guess I read this calf from the side. He's good in his chest floor, but probably his rear flank doesn't set it in quite right. And when you watch him go away, maybe more of his weight is distributed up front because his chest is good. But again, as you watch him go away, maybe wants to fade and play out over his loin edge out to his hip and quarter. That's being really picky because I like that guy's feature and I like his growth. I think if you wanted to switch that pair, I wouldn't argue much with you. Calf that comes next is very proportional, put together really nicely. The young man gets him stopped and put together. Lines are good, both top and bottom. This calf that wants to twist out just a little bit up front. I just think he's a little softer in his muscle shape. You read him right around his pin bones, he's maybe putting just a little extra condition on as well, but good calf nonetheless. Young man's done a great job. Calf that comes next, long bodied, one of the leaner, more expressively muscled calves in here. Just a little bit awkward in terms of the shape of that calf's hind leg, getting a little coarse and maybe a little bit extra size there to his hock joint. I'd like to clean that up just a little bit, but I like his carcass merit. I like the expression that he brings to the table. Calf that comes next is bold and stout, but wants to run downhill and open up in his shoulder. And I'd like to just set his knee back and relax him up front and just give him a little more slope and angulation to his structure, but a bold, stout, powerful one that gets up a little bit jammed up and needs to be changed structurally. Calf that comes next, the black and white one's got plenty of growth, but little softer shape, maybe not quite as explosive or just wide open in terms of skeletal base width. Round our class out with one that's nice structured and nice footed, but not enough productivity in terms of rib shape and muscle. But a great class nonetheless. Those kids have done a great job. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cheyenne Breeding from Plain City, Utah is your winner of class number 12. Give her a round of applause. Texas number 2 is Ty Martinez, Loving, New Mexico. 3 is Sean Lafisti, Cameron, Texas. 4th place is Mallory Center from Fallbrook, California. 5th place is Cade Haggard, Buckeye, Arizona. 6th place, Amanda Olau. And rounding out the class is Jackson Howe from Yuma, Arizona. That completes class number 12. Coming into the ring is class number 13. These steers are weighing anywhere from 949 pounds all the way up to 988 pounds. Class 13 is headed into the ring. That means class 14, you should be starting to get ready ringside. Caitlin Hanuentua, Keegan Johnson, Sarah Rimple, Shelby Wood, Cashton Crane, Logan Stoltz, Emmeline Mellon. All make your way to ringside, class 14. Class 13 is now in the ring. This is class 13. Steers weighing from 949 all the way up to 980.
Another really good class here. Try to work through them. We're starting to lose a little bit of our daylight here, but I can still read these cattle pretty well, and we might switch it up and bring them in a little differently so that we can maximize kind of the light here on this end. But nonetheless, the calf that wins, I think, is very fresh and has a real quality kind of image to him when you just read him from the side, and when this young man presents him to you. Just, maybe not just the most muscular one in here, but I think he's got enough. And when he's that quality driven and has that kind of look and presence about him, I think his freshness and his maturity are right on target. I think it gets a little closer there between 2, 3, and all the way on down to 5th. And this calf that ends up in 2nd, the gold steer, like him at the ground in terms of just his angulation. I like to just change the shape of his foot just a little bit, maybe just give him a shot more heel as you read him through the surface. But a good feed, good doing kind of calf that's got some muscle and pretty athletic in the way that he goes. So practicality puts him towards the top end of this class. A real muscular kind of a steer coming next. I like his shape, and I like the expression that he has to the upper part of his skeleton. A little too straight there in his shoulder, and he labors up front, and he'll drop that chest and kind of throw himself off from just a proportion standpoint, but muscular calf that has some quality pieces when he does keep himself together. Good pair of steers here. If you'd like to switch it, I wouldn't argue much with you. Like this guy's feature and his foot and his joint work a little bit better. He doesn't have the same sort of rib shape or the volume as what we see in the steers in front of him, but a good calf nonetheless. A big bodied, bold, powerful kind of steer that comes next. Little coarse there at the point of his shoulder. I don't know if his foot matches the extra muscle that he has. Gets just a little tight there. Like to intensify his bone work to kind of make that more proportional. An aggressively shaped, lean, kind of muscular steer that comes next. That's just too tight in terms of his rib and his structure. Calf that comes next is easy doing. He's got some extra feeding ability to him, but a little plain to look at, both in terms of his shape as well as his look. Calf that round there comes out next is one that's pretty loose in his construction, but he separates there at the top of his shoulder, sinks in his forerib and in his spine. Not enough muscle to move up. And the same can be said about this young lady's calf. Love his extension and I love his growth and his performance, but for his frame, I'd like to see more rib shape and more muscle mass all the way through. Great class again, congratulations.
Okay, class 13. First place, Keston Zimmerman. Second, Chase Haggard. Third, Paige Hamilton. Fourth place went to Kendall Jones. Fifth to Kaylin Haggard. Sixth place, McKenna McCleve. Seventh place, Catherine Johnson. Eighth place, Keelan Faulkner. And ninth place went to Jacqueline Salenza. Give a round of applause for class 13 as 14 enters the ring. Class 14 prospects range in weight from 997 to 1048. 7 entries in this class. Class 15, you need to be lined up and ready at the gate. Jocelyn Peralta, Caden Zimmerman, Cashlyn Rupke, Mason Norris, Grant Keller, Cashton Crane, Zach Bear, and Kason Romo. You need to be checked in at the gate for Class 15.
A tremendous amount of muscle and volume, and they're in the right kind of composition. So for me, it's a little more refreshing to use a calf. It's just one I like a little better from terms of just his look and his presence. I think he's a little neater there at the top of his neck. I think he's a little neater just in terms of his chest and his lower body shape and just the cleanliness to it. Big set of legs, really fresh kind of shape to him. I just like this calf, just his look and his presence and his freshness. That's why he ends up winning this particular group. This calf here in second is kind of a freak in terms of just how wide open and powerful and muscular and base wide he is. And to have that kind of mass, this dude actually gets out and reaches really, really well. So I think it warrants a very kind of thought-provoking there in terms of just what you do with him, because he can push the envelope there on weight and width and muscle, but still stay, I think, plenty good enough in his joint work. He's just a little shorter cannon, a little smaller and quicker in how he looks to me. I'd like to just change the shape of his shoulder, but this is a darn good steer. Very interesting. I think that one will have a lot of fans as well. Another solid steer that comes next. His body shape is bold. He's got enough muscle. Of these first three, when you ask the kettle to get out and go, don't want to creep up there in his spine. He sets down just a little awkwardly there. Maybe not quite as fresh or as aggressive or muscular as those two in front of him, but that is no slouch. That's a good steer. Probably one of the best third place steers we've had all day. Then it gets a little closer between 4 and 5, two steers that are a little bit different. This calf maybe gives up some muscle, and that's why he doesn't get any higher in this group, but I like him when he stopped, and I like his bone, and I like his feature, and I like his presence. Just wish he was a little stouter in terms of muscle shape like to set his hind leg down with a little more slope and a little more angulation. If you want a little extra muscle, I think you switch the pair for the one in fifth. I think he's aggressive. He's got some shape to his hip and his quarter. He's a calf that gets just a little bit rounder and a little tighter in terms of his rib cage. He's a calf that has a lot of good. That young man's done a great job with him as well. Got a pair of cattle here that probably just give up some muscle shape and give up some volume. This one's got a little more rib and body and doability to him. The steer that rounds out our class has probably got as much true performance, and that goes with some of his breed type as well. Great class. These kids have done a great job fighting through it, doing an excellent work out here. Congratulations. Nice job, young man.
Class 14. First place, we had Sarah Rimple, Athens, Texas. Second place, Shelby Wood, Yuma, Arizona. Third place, Emmeline Nellen, Yuma, Arizona. Fourth place, Caitlin Humiumptua in Parker, Arizona. Fifth place, Cashton Crane, Buckeye, Arizona. Sixth place, Keegan Johnson, Waddell, Arizona. And seventh place went to Logan Stoltz, Waddell, Arizona. Let's give a big hand. Walking in the ring now is class 15. 16, you need to be making your way up. Class 16, you need to be lining up at the gate right now. Tatiana Bullock, Emmeline Mellon, Isaiah Van Oswald, Shelby Wood, Sydney Pear, Jackson Anderson, and Austin Johnson. Class 16, please be making your way to the gate. We need all our first and second place winners from each class to come back. So be ready on deck. We got one more, one at the gate, one on deck, and then we're going to bring our first and second place back. Start getting those ready. The judge today is Dr. Chris Cassidy. He grew up on a diversified family-owned purebred Angus and grain farm in north central Illinois. He was a member of both Blackhawk East and Texas A&M University's livestock judging teams. Then went on to the University of Illinois, where he served as a livestock judging team coach while he completed his PhD in cow-calf ruminant nutrition. Dr. Cassidy is now an instructor and the livestock judging team coach at Iowa State University. He's judged shows in over 35 states, including the Houston Livestock Show, Fort Worth Livestock Show, National Western, and the North American International Livestock Exposition. He currently resides in Anaheim, Iowa with his wife Katie and their sons Bo and Lincoln. He's heavily involved in the promotion and exhibition of the family Angus herd, C5 Angus. Let's give him a welcome to the Arizona National. We gave him a warm welcome earlier. Now we're going to cool it off just a little bit as the sun goes down. We'll never say thank you to our sponsors of the Prospect Cattle Show, Show Bloom, Sullivan's Supply, WW Rodeo Livestock Systems, Tractor Supply, Western Ag Life Media, and You Can Bid, Paul Ramirez. Thank you, sponsors.
Another good class. Again, we've got a good pair of steers here towards the top that are very different. And I'll be honest with you, if you want to switch them, I'm not going to argue much with you, but I'm going to kind of go with my first impression and the calf that I just think does a lot of things right. And I think in terms of just the shape of his head and his freshness and his composition relative to his weight, I think it's a little bit more on target relative to the calf that ends up in second. A little cleaner, a little tidier there through his chest and lower body. I think he's a calf when you're stepping on top of him. I actually think he's more genuine in terms of his shape over his loin edge and out through his hip and his quarter. Young lady does a great job. That's just a good solid calf here to lead off this class. If you want to sort it on bulk and body mass, I think you could definitely make a case for this calf here in second. That guy's rib cage is huge and bold. Lots of feeding ability in him. He's a calf that is starting to edge toward a little bit mature in terms of his look as you compare him to the one that's directly in front of him. His head's a little bit plainer, starting to push just a little extra condition to him. I think he's a steer that has some body mass, but he needs to have a bigger foot, needs to have more substance and real muscle shape for me to start him. But I like his practicality and his doability, and again, young man has done an excellent job with him. A little fresher steer that comes in 3. I like him at the stand. That's probably where he gives you his best look, because he's fresh, he's honest, he's square in terms of his hip and his quarter. Needs to be different up front and change the way his knee and his front feet set down to the surface, set him in motion. He'll tighten up in both his loin as well as his flanks, and that rear third disconnects just a little bit. That's why he ends up where he's at as well. Another muscular steer in this red one in 4. I like this calf in terms of his extension and the shape he has up high. Calf that needs to be set back in his knee and needs to just reach with a little more athleticism in his step, but a good calf nonetheless. The next one is really big bone and he's smooth made. I like that about him. I like how his shoulders laid into him. He's fresh enough in his look, but I think when you really study his forehead, and you read him out through his hip and his pin set, I don't know if there's just as much rib shape and true muscle volume in that calf, but skeleton's good. He's a calf that's really good footed, but he needs to have more shape. Calf that comes next is bold and powerful, but he's too short cannon and a little quick and round in how he's put together. Calf that comes next is Smoke. Definitely has that extra shot of performance, but he's too tight in his spine because he needs laid back in his shoulder. Round our class out with one of the leaner ones in here, but again, structure as well as rib and body need to be altered in that calf. Excellent set of steers. Those kids are doing a great job hanging in there. Congratulations.
Let's give class 15 a hand. First place, Passion Roki, Queen Creek, Arizona. Second place, Caden Zimmerman, Waddell, Arizona. Third, Mason Norris, Casa Grande, Arizona. Fourth place, Kason Romo, Parker, Arizona. Fifth place, Cashton Crane, Buckeye, Arizona. Sixth place, Jocelyn Peralta, Tucson, Arizona. Seventh place, Grant Keller, Gilbert, Arizona. Eighth place went to Zach Baird, Gilbert, Arizona. Let's give them all a big hand. And into the ring now we have class 16. Class 17, you need to be making your way to the gate now. Shelby Hervos, Emily Crosby, Chloe Dugan, Lorelei Mellon, Kaylee Zimmerman, Allison Kaufman, and Kayla Rocha. Please make your way to the gate. Our class winners from all the classes, 1 through 16, will need you to be on deck. As soon as we're done with class 17, we're going to come in and pick your grand and reserve prospects. Class 17, you need to be at the gate. First and second places from all the classes, 1 through 16 through 15, need to be getting ready to head toward the gate soon.
Another nice class. I know we've got one more left, and then we'll get into our champion drive. But like I said before, some of these winners are going to be really, really fun to get together. I think that there's a pair of steers here that have the right kind of shape. And so for me, it's a little more routine to use the one that's just a little sounder in the way that he kind of puts himself down at the ground and the way he sets and flexes off both ends of his framework. Just a nice calf. Like I said before, the way that you tie together that kind of fresh shape and that kind of quality but still keep it sound is really hard to do, and he does it to a very extreme degree. I like this calf in second. I think his muscle shape is just overwhelming. He's so bold and so powerful and dimensional, right in behind his shoulder and all the way out through his hip and his quarter. Problem is he wants to work up in his shoulder just a little bit, maybe not quite as just stable in how he sets down compared to our winner, but I love this guy's body shape. I love his composition and his freshness. You've done everything you can. That's a good steer, good pair of steers that are shaped excellent there on top. This calf in third is kind of a no-holes kind of calf. I like his problem-free kind. His body shape is soft and he's got some doability to him. He's a calf that's fairly organized, but I don't know if there's anything really wrong with him. He maybe just isn't quite as exciting as the two in front of him. A little smaller footed, got a little extra set there to his hop. His pin bones come down just a little bit, but again, doesn't take anything away from his practicality or his endpoint merit. That's a good steer, problem-free, really excellent job there again with that young lady. Another muscular, big body kind of steer that comes next, but I wish this guy's structure was a little different. He wants to set out pretty open there at the edge of his shoulder, wants to get a little awkward there in terms of his hop, a little too straight, like to just give him more angulation, but body shape's good, composition's good, structure is his biggest limitation. A real easy doing one that comes next that's starting to push a little extra condition, and so I guess at this weight frame he's starting to look just a little bit little chubbier down through his chest, but certainly one that's got some doability to him. A calf that's a little leaner here, but he needs to be altered in the angle of his shoulder, and with that he needs to have more expansion to his rib cage and have more muscle mass. Round the class out with one of the growthier calves in here. Love his extension and I love his performance, but again, for his frame, need to have more rib shape and muscle for me to move up in this class. But an excellent set of steers again. Those kids are doing a great job. Congratulations.
For Class 16 results. First place, Emmeline Nellen, of Yuma, Arizona. Second place, Tatiana Bullock, Wapping, Nevada. Third place, Sydney Pear, Yuma, Arizona. Fourth place, Austin Johnson, Yuma, Arizona. Fifth place, Shelby Wood, Yuma, Arizona. Sixth place, Jackson Anderson, Sterling, Utah, and seventh place to Isaiah Van Osdal. Give him a round of applause. Entering the ring right now is Class 17. These steers range the weight from 1204 to 1355. Okay, on deck, coming toward the gate right now. We need to start checking you in. In just a minute, I'm going to read off those names, but our first and second.
A good class here to round out this the prospect show. And there's, you know, you get into this weight frame. Are they prospects anymore? I don't know, but you know, they are what they are. And so we're getting into a class where we've got some differences in composition and differences in shapes and sizes. But you know, the calf that wins this one for me, again, I've said it before throughout the day. This one maybe isn't the most of any one particular thing, but I really like this this calf's composition, and just in terms of leanness and muscle shape. And yet when that calf gets stopped and put together, I think that one still has plenty of quality and plenty of good. Like I said, not the softest, not the soggiest, but I think freshness wins, and I think that's why she ends up at the top end of this class. Gets a little closer there between those first three. The steer that ends up in second, I like his joint work as good as any of them. I like his foot size and the way that he flexes. Good body, good easy doing kind of a steer as well. But he's starting to lose his shape just a little bit. I get on top of him and he maybe fades just a little bit, find his shoulder and out through his loin edge and really through his hip and his quarter as well. So, you know, he's a good calf. The pieces are there. He's good headed. I like his feature better than the steer in 3. I think just his maturity and father time starting to work against him. Just losing a little bit of his shape. This calf that ends up in 3rd, an interesting kind of market heifer. She is bold and she is powerful. I think she's got plenty of volume to her. She's just a little plain-headed, and I think of those first 3, she gets a little tentative in how she travels and plants off that rear leg. We just like to find a different gear, get her out, and find some extra reach there to her step, but a good, powerful kind of heifer there that ends up in 3. The steer that comes next, again, real easy doing. I think, again, he's maybe just a little bit past 12 o'clock from a finish standpoint. Wanting to get just a little plain down through his cod and up around his tail head, but good doing steer that's moderate and bold body and still has enough muscle. Really a problem calf coming next. This thing is the most muscular. He is shaped incredibly well. You know, I like that carcass merit in him, but the problem is that I'm just not really a fan of his kind. He's a little too short, jammed up, and compact, and I'd like to just change him structurally, but muscular, good carcass kind of calf that ends up in that spot. A long-bodied one that's coming next that just gets a little plain in both his look and his shape. We round out the class with a good performing, good weight per day of age kind of a steer that just doesn't have enough muscle. But again, it's been a great show. I'm looking forward to bringing them all back out here. All these kids have done a great job. Congratulations.
Okay, first and second place, you need to make your way to the gate. Our winners in class number 17, first place, Chloe Dugan, Stanfield, Arizona. Second place, Kaylee Zimmerman, Waddell, Arizona. Third place, Caleb Rocha, Tracy, Arizona, Tracy, California. Fourth place, Allison Kaufman, Fiore, Arizona. Fifth place, Lorelei Mellon, Yuma, Arizona. Sixth place, Shelby Prenos, Surprise, Arizona. And seventh place, Emily Crosby, Gilbert, Arizona. Now we need to bring in our first and second place winners from each class. So class number 1, that will be Ryan Martin and Daisy Howell. Class number 2, Dylan Stone and Erica Garcia. Class number 3, J.C. Miller and Riley Zuppo. Class number 4,
Katie. Where you at? All right, I'm gonna sit over.
You have to stay here for drinks. Get a new battery.
It actually went on for like 2 hours.
I'm like, I'm easy at that. I have no clue. That's fine.
Because I said, is that what you want? And what it actually is.
Cage, maybe.
Oh, this is such a good shot. So good.
Everything I am.
From the hip.
Oh my god, why is
Not
there,
even bad.
I'm not a serious person. Every picture she takes of me, I'm just like extra like.
That was actually in focus. I'm actually impressed.
I'm a close to this like that.
How do I not do this? I have like this single shot.
Always like that.
I didn't know. See, I didn't know which one to change.
You sure? Well, I know. I just
So I shoot in 64s and I wipe it every 3 years.
How does she like?
Stop touching other things because I don't know.
Hold, I'm not switching anything. I'm looking for your settings. Yours is weird.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have it. Thank you.
They're already freaking heavy anyway with the.
There we go. There you go. AI server. You should always have your focus on that server from you. AI server. They kind of do this.
Gotta learn something. I'm gonna soak up Devin while I can.
Now you watch. Now you know me. You're gonna see me everywhere.
Probably not. I never leave that call.
Funny thing is like that's not my name. Once you beat him, I kind of still want
Well, we're getting
Reset
ready
the shadow.
for the Champion and Reserve drive here for the Prospect Show. I'll remind you that the Hacienda
All right, now Katie.
Bar and Grill is open. Just,
I love pictures of me, so everybody else can have
over here
pictures
in
of
the
them.
breezeway.
Look at that little big-haired, pretty
Beverages
face.
and food.
And then we have, oh wait, is it this way? And we have this little. I've never been more self-conscious about my squinty eyes until I have these 70-200 lenses on me, and I'm like, oh, I squint.
No, I'm about to have some fun with these. Here's extra like voluminous today.
Thank you.
I like it.
This is the goal for the rest of the week. We'll see if it happens.
My battery's flashing.
2 hours.
You can borrow mine if it does.
No, I have like 3 more.
You can borrow my camera.
I'm going to the backdrop because it's warm.
Don't worry.
Don't
You're
worry.
from Ohio. It'd be different if you were coming from like Lubbock.
Okay. The thing is I would have packed appropriate attire.
You're wearing 3 jackets. Like literally.
I would have wore snow pants. That'd be sick.
If I walked up here and you were wearing snow pants, I would have put you. I already would have put you last. I would have put you on like. You would have got on your plane early and left. Like.
What kind of pants is Kane wearing? They're like kind of.
Kane's in a mood today, so I'm not doing a Kane right now.
Because getting roasted.
That's fine. I told him he's in the mood. I told him he needs to cheer up. I walked in, he's rubbing his feet, and I'm like, no. He said, my feet hurt. I'm like, I don't care. I'm
Wear
not
some
pop-
better shoes.
Okay,
man.
but I've walked 6 miles today and I'm not bitching.
Yeah. What shoes do you have on? Twisted?
No, it's not. She passed it.
No, it's on.
The voices? No, it's not. So someone just listened to us?
I don't know.
Yeah, Brian's gonna go through and rewatch all these in a week and be like,
Say I have voice recognition. Oh yeah, like full out yell her name.
Yeah, Brian doesn't want us to realize it. He wants full sound effects while I'm watching it. There's no sound.
yo, Brian, you want my pretty face on there too? I'm like,
Ryan earlier today was like
I'll be like,
all up in it. It was so
I'll be
funny.
like,
Oh my goodness.
talk about flexibility in the fingers.
I guess so. Interesting.
But, like,
I wonder what steer we're waiting on.
They gotta line up all of the hands.
17 times 2.
Correct.
I look
I
like,
don't know how he's gonna take forever.
I look like a, yo, that's the thing I liked, like, about, like, big guy, he was, like, 2 seconds, like,
Yeah, he's really good.
Who was the picture?
He's
Where's he from?
Indiana.
Oh.
All right, I hope you've done your 7th inning stretch. Ran over to the Hacienda real quick, got your beverages. We are going to start
I did
our
not.
championship drive for the Prospect Show. All right, entering the ring first, we're going to have our second place enter the ring first. So from Class 1, that will be Daisy Howell. Class 2, Erica Garcia. Class 3, Riley Zufelt. Class 4, Kelly Bennett.
She's taking backdrops of these.
Class 5, Emily Wise.
Yeah. Because her camera battery's in the back.
Class 6, Trevor Williams. Class 7, Peyton Voloshin. Class 8, Catch Bays. Class 9,
They're gonna stop right here.
William Cash Spindle. Class 10, Cody Foley. Class 11, Kate Miller. Class 12, Ty Martinez. Class 13, Chase Haggard. Class 14, Shelby Wood. Class 15, Caden Zimmerman. Class 16, Tatiana Bullock. And Class 17, Kaylee Zimmerman. First in the ring are the second place from each class. Entering the ring next for our first place prospects from each class. Class 1, Ryan Martin. Class 2, Dylan Stone. Class 3, JC Miller. Class 4, Tristan Davis. Class 5, Kaylee Velasquez. Class 6, Michael Voloshin. Class 7, Peyton Voloshin. Class 8, Shay Stone. Class 9, Georgia Cositorto. Class 10, Caleb Johnston. Class 11, Adley Miller. Class 12, Cheyenne Breeding. Class 13, Keston Zimmerman. Class 14, Sarah Rimple. Class 15, Cashlyn Roepke. Class 16, Emmeline Mellon. And Class 17, Chloe Dugan. watching the championship drive of the Prospect Show. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Showbloom, Sullivan Supply, WW Rodeo Livestock Systems, Tractor Supply, Western Ag Life Media, You Can Bid. Those are owned by Mr. Paul Ramirez, great sponsor of the show. Please visit our sponsors, tell them thank you. Our judge today, Dr. Chris Cassidy, is currently instructor and livestock judging coach at Iowa State University. Okay, we are missing from Class 9, our number 1, our first place steer from Class 9, Georgia Cositorto. Georgia Cositorto, we need your first place steer from Class 9 in the ring. We still got showmanship to go right after this, so I want to remind you the Hacienda Bar and Grill is open just to the west of the show ring here. Need a little something to warm you up, fill your belly. We're happy to serve you.
Prospect calves. Yep.
It's gonna be a late night. Sorry.
That's what I'm here for. I'm living it up.
no, other one. Just pull up past it. Push that one back. Walk him over.
You're watching the championship drive of the Prospect Show. We're looking over our first place winners from each class right now. I remind you the Hacienda Bar and Grill is open just to the west of us. Food and beverages. Our judge today is Dr. Chris Cassidy, currently an instructor and the livestock judging team coach at Iowa State University.
Well, I know we've got some showmanship to go through yet, and I've taken up enough of your day, so I will promise you that I will keep my comments pretty brief here. And for those of you guys at ringside, if you've got other cattle, you'll get a chance to see me the next couple of days. So, like I said, I'm going to keep my comments pretty brief. But I'll tell you what, I came down here for this prospect show today, and I really wasn't sure what I was going to get myself into, let alone have 17 classes where, you know, every winner and every second were cattle that you can get excited about. So this has definitely exceeded my expectations, not only in sheer numbers of cattle, but the quality of cattle that you brought to me, and more importantly, the kids that have done all the work. So before we go any further, if you guys are ringside, congratulate all these kids out here in first and second. Give a nice round of applause. You know, if I was out here with 17 class winners in 17 seconds, if you guys want me to talk about all of them, I will, but that might take 4.5 hours. So I think when it kind of boils down to it, when you get these class winners out, and the quality is so good, and it's, you know, there's more than one right answer out here, and those of you guys that are going to be ran in reserve are obviously going to be very excited about your evening, but at the same point, some of you guys that, I'm telling you, this is a deep set, and there are going to be cattle that get left out of the Grand Reserve that are going to go on to have very, very successful careers. So with that being said, I think when the quality is good, it just gives you that unique opportunity as a judge to just go out and use the one that hits you the hardest, and the one that's your kind. And so I'm going to do that here in just a second, but I know that a lot of these different steers are headed to different endpoints, but they're off to an incredible start. Kids have done a great job. You guys have done a great job of putting together the right kind of genetics. So with that being said, I'm going to just put the mic down and go get you my favorite two out here. But if you could, one last time, give these kids a nice round of applause. Woo! Congratulations on an outstanding show.
Okay, you can say congratulations to all of you.
Got a number 47 year tag, steer loose in the home ec building right behind you. You got a steer loose in the home ec building, number 47. Around.
Okay, yes. Oh, yes. And where's the... Perfect. Yes, she's right. You know where the back up.
Get the chicken and
I got the slab, so I got the...